Quantico Baptist Church for hosting the candidate forum on March 12th, which I was not able to join due to travel. I did prepare a statement for the team at the Tri-Tri weekend to share, which was done, so thank you for that. I did watch that video as well and learned that former Chairman Klarkowski made a surprise unannounced appearance. And one of his statements that caught my attention was that one of the reasons for his resignation, other than what was mentioned in his letter to the town, was resigning would allow him to speak freely about the 3 junior supervisors on the town board. And as Ty mentioned, Chairman Krakowski, former Chairman Krakowski mentioned a private meeting out there that occurred, alluding that it involved the 3 said junior supervisors, which is not only hearsay, but simply a lie, as I mentioned as well. I find this hearsay and claims quite ironic after Mr. Klarkowski's repeated claims of misinformed citizens throughout our community. So I can look any one of you in the eye and tell you I have not had a meeting with my colleagues here on the board, and I'm sure the other junior supervisors, as Ty has already done so, would confirm that. Because it's simply the truth. So I take the responsibility of representing this community very seriously, and I can see that my colleagues do as well. I have not ignored or skipped training. There is sometimes training that's only available Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Which because of my full-time job, there are times that I cannot attend those trainings. But I can assure you in my first term, there were many work days that I did prioritize the online options for the Wisconsin Towns Association training. However, that's been a little bit more challenging over the past year as my full-time work has expanded. So please know that when training is available online or in writing, I make every effort to expand my knowledge and education in these areas. If Mr. Klarkowski is not proud to be part of this board, I don't understand why he's still campaigning as a candidate, because if he should end up returning, there really is no change in composition to this board that he resigned from. So how will he be able to work with this team of junior supervisors? I think the resignation, in my opinion, without notice, was disrespectful to this board, including current chairman, Church, and all of the residents, because we had to scramble and take things over in the middle, and obviously we all had other things happening as well with no smooth transition. Why couldn't he allow for a transition of those activities or simply finish the final 3 months of his term? Again, if there are issues between board members, I would expect my colleagues to reach out to me directly one-on-one to have a respectful adult discussion, because that's what adults do. So, on the other hand, Mr. Klarkowski's resignation did uncover some things within the town that probably need to be reviewed and potentially updated, and some of which are on the agenda tonight, such as turning off email accounts, ensuring the entire board reviews and approves the participation of former employees in various committees and activities, etc. So we can use it as a learning experience for the board. So, thank you.
You want to let him go? He can go.
Rich Faust, W1929 Pastime Lane. I just want to follow up with a few things as far as collaboration. You heard Tom, you invited them, and you heard what the answer was. So collaboration isn't going too well on their side. As far as
You're supposed to address the board.
sorry, as far as the wakeboard boats that are on the lake, we don't know if they go on vacation to other lakes. I take my boat off the lake all the time. When I bring it back, it gets bleached. I try to contaminate it. Nobody's talked about VHS. We got the quagga mussels, we got the spiny fleas that we gotta worry about. They're terrible. But we don't have any way to know that the 38 wakeboard boats that are on the lake are being, taken off, going on vacation, coming back. And the state law does say if you can't empty the ballast, the boats aren't even supposed to come on any Wisconsin lakes. And the last statement I'm gonna make is, when there was a comment made about, you just can't listen to the fishermen, getting together, talking about, getting rid of the wakeboard boats or the enhancement. Well, if it wasn't for the fishermen, not a lot of people were noticing the destruction that's being done. We watched our catch and release levels of legal bass during our tournaments in 2000 to 2015. We went to 317 fish we caught that year, in 1 year. Last year, we're down to 69 legal fish with the same amount of guys fishing. So is it coincidental that in the last 10 years, when the wake enhancement is being done on the lake, when the big wakeboard boats came on, is it just coincidental that the fish numbers have dropped off? I don't know, that's where a study's gonna, will show more. But I don't disagree with what the gentleman said about the bigger motors and the bigger boats taking off anywhere. But we've always had them. Matter of fact, we've had more boats on the lake years ago when Double D's, when it was Diamond D's and when it was Beulah Vista, when they launched boats, there was many more boats on the lake. Because we had 2 launches and there was no 29 parking stalls. They could park up and down St. Peter's Road. A lot of you don't remember that. And I've been on the lake my whole life, and the destruction wasn't there then. The destructions happened in the last 10 years. And what's the common denominator of the last 10 years? It's the wake surf boats. That's what people aren't getting. And we can have this lake either be an all recreational lake minus the wake surfing, or it's going to turn into one lake, and that's a wake surfing lake. There will be no fishing. It'll be a mud hole. You can't enjoy the lake anymore. I know that there's Supervisor Leonard's got a boat on the lake. It's so much different than it was 10 years ago going on a pontoon boat. You're either going to have to decide whether you're going to wash the feet of the people on your boat or you're going to rock everything off the table. So I think everybody wants to collaborate here, but Lake Beulah cannot handle this wake surfing. It cannot handle it. You people have to understand that in 5 years this lake might be done, and it may not be reversible. Or in our time, we may not see it come back. Thank you.
All right.
I'm sorry I missed you before.
That's okay. I have patience. All right, before the timer starts, I'd like to,
No, you're on the board.
I'd like to thank the board for hearing my conditional use, and I'd like to have 4 additional minutes, because I have to rebuttal to several people
No,
that have
sir.
spoken.
You have 4 minutes total.
And they already started, okay, then I'll go quick. So can the board take a vote on it?
You can.
Okay, thank you.
So
Somebody
you
give me
have
a-
4 minutes.
Oh, after
See how
4,
much you
okay,
get in.
alright. Alright, so, I'm gonna start by rebutting against, what was said by Daniel Bach. And I have documentation here that goes back to, March 20th, 2013. And the method of choice for some of the organizations around this lake is slander. And I'm gonna show you why I'm saying that. So this is what was sent out to the Lake Beulah Protected Improvement Association's now PLB people back on that date. They said that I'm seeking to develop a boat launch, which was a flat out lie. So after 3 emails later, I got them to do a retraction in their email blast, and it says it was misquoted that I was asking for a boat launch. So that's just how the slander works around here. And I've been here for going on 57 years, so I've got a good front seat picture to all this. So as far as what Commissioner Russell was stating, he's still shooting up mistruths. And here's the copy of my permit that he gave me. I already have a copy of my thing there. And it says right here, number 11. The use of this parcel for parking or storage of boats or the placement of structures or buildings is not authorized with this permit approval. That's a fact. The permit approved me to restore the slope after I gave away 6 truckloads of fill. It did not say that in the future, I can't apply and use the property. So that's a mistruth, and there was 3 or 4 other ones there that I'm not gonna go into, but I have all the facts, I have all my documents, I save all my stuff, I know what I'm talking about. With this conditional use, I agree to 100% agree to follow all the federal, state, and local laws and ordinances. I do not do anything contrary to what's in Walworth County zoning book. I will follow all the Walworth County conditions and ordinances. During the rezone of my property, I agree to follow all the ordinances of the county. The planning commission did not follow Act 67. The planning commission did not follow quasi-judicial processes of conducting their meetings. I would like to ask the planning commission if they noticed this meeting tonight, because there's 4 planning commission members in attendance right now, and I don't remember seeing the notice published. On social media, I put this letter that I emailed to all these board members here, I emailed it to Attorney Mills, and I emailed it to Michael Cotter. I explained in great detail the mistruths, what Commissioner Russell said, and I've got a response back where Jimmy wasn't gonna seek out some information unless the board requested it. So that information's on Informed Citizens under the Planning Commission video. This right here is the pamphlet for Act 67. I included in the packet that the supervisors here have, but I just want to read you a few things out of this here. The requirements and conditions specified in the ordinance or imposed by the zoning must be reasonable and to the extent practicable and measurable.
John, time right now.
Okay. Somebody want to make a motion? Cory?
You could, if someone wants to make a motion to allow additional time, they can, but that too should be limited to 4 minutes.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but I agree from my perspective.
Okay. Well, please refer to this stuff.
Already finished, I'll take over.
This is about West Rock Cottage, I live at North 859 Sturgis Bridge Road. All the rumors that we have heard, opinions, innuendos, conjectures, is why Act 67 has been put in place. It's fact-based, so we preserve property owners' rights. I'm asking the board to use Act 67 only when making your decision. If it gets approved and there's conditions, Act 67 goes into some of the parameters. The requirements and conditions specified in the ordinance or imposed by the zoning board must be reasonable and to the extent practical and measurable. Any condition imposed must relate to the purpose of the ordinance, and that's a key word, purpose of the ordinances, and based on substantial evidence. Substantial evidence means fact and information other than merely personal preferences or speculations directly pertaining to the requirements and conditions of the applicant must meet to obtain a conditional use permit, and that a reasonable person would accept in support of the condition. This talk about the 20-year-old illegal hill is 20 years old. We are asking for conditional use now. Why it's pertinent to go back 20 years and bring something like that up and then to keep referring to it's illegal. It's only illegal if there's no permit. There was a permit placed on it. It's not illegal right now. And to go back 20 years, we might as well go back to John Stokes' kindergarten records. That's how ridiculous I think it is. We are going to follow all federal, state, and local ordinances and laws. Act 67 also provide, oh, I'm sorry, that's not it, okay. Oopsie. Okay. Clearly under Act 67, if an applicant agrees to meet all the requirements of the ordinances and all the conditions imposed, the local government has no discretion to deny the permit. Thank you.
Anybody else? Right. We're moving on. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. Wasn't gonna, Dennis Schultz, W902 Sherwood Drive on Potter Lake. I understand all of the comments and studies and whatever for Lake Beulah. The only thing I'm gonna ask the board is that when we do get to the top, when we do get to the point of voting, that you make it a town ordinance, not just an ordinance for Lake Beulah. I'm sure if somebody wanted to move, take a vote from Lake Beulah over to Ruth Lake or bring it to Powder Lake, we would be real happy about it if there was an ordinance prohibiting them from using their boats on Lake Beulah. So that was my only comment, is to please look at all the lakes within the township and make your decision and ordinances based on what's good for all of them and not just Lake Beulah. Thank you.
I apologize. Alright, anybody else? 1, 2, 3. Alright, this time we are moving on. Reports of committee, chairperson or supervisors. I have my report in the packet. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we move to media IT report. Any addition? He's not here. Her material is also in the packet. Any questions on that?
Only one thing that I'd like to add, she shared a copy of the draft of the newsletter, and you see there's a small little section that's open, and she was looking for ideas. I will follow up with her at our Booth Lake meeting, she could maybe highlight some of the summer activities of Booth Lake. And we're potentially gonna have a campaign, to sponsor a picnic table for about $350 or $400, over the summer, and you'll get the plaque on it at Booth Lake Park that I can include in the newsletter.
Could I ask who is sponsoring that picnic table? Is that open to?
We're doing a campaign, open it to try and fund some of that. Yeah, I'll just
Misunderstood.
So I will follow up with that idea.
Alright, moving on. Department of Public Works, DPW Superintendent Shield, thank you for sticking around.
Everybody got a copy of my little report for the brief little bit of winter that we had back in February. That's kind of hanging on. A couple things that I needed to get going for this summer, unless anybody's got any questions on my report.
I do not.
Alright, we have some road work coming up for the summer that was approved last year at budget time. For another third of Honey Creek Road, resurfacing of St. Peter's Road in collaboration with the villages part, so instead of looking at two pieces of road, it all look the same, unlike it does now. So it's fixing some of that, and then seal coating a couple of roads. So just letting you know that's gonna be going out for bid. Mr. Mills had kind of, went over the, how the road bids are gonna go out, and we gotta make a couple.
I did.
Yeah. And we gotta make a couple corrections on it, but nothing nothing major, and we'll go out tomorrow. We have an issue with a failing head wall on Beulah Heights Road, on the culvert that goes underneath. We've had a few discussions on it with some of the board members. I have gotten nothing back from Mr. Lynch yet. We signed the approval for them to do the design and engineering. I'm not gonna estimate the cost on that yet. So hopefully this week, I reached out to Tim Lynch today ahead of it and got nothing back. So hopefully we get something soon, 'cause that's gonna be costly. Couple ideas that they have already is completely replacing that culvert instead of just fixing the head wall. It's a 78-year-old culvert, kinda makes sense. Instead of throwing good money in a bad way, replace it. But that's not starting till probably sometime after Labor Day, until after voting season.
Can we go back to roads real quick? I know there were some questions about the Wilmer's Road, was there anything that needed to, in this year's plan?
Not on Wilmer's, I haven't heard nothing on Wilmer's.
That was the emails.
Right, and
Oh, for clean up from last year and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah, in fact,
tracking of the,
yep, and we had it seal coated last year. After the first year of plowing, it gets all the loose stone up. The guys are actually out there today, sweeping out driveways, sweeping out along the curb. The sweep ball will be in there again on Wednesday to do a final sweeping. Yeah, just after the very first year of plowing, it's all the stuff that's sitting on the surface. So yeah, it made a mess, but you get that every time you still put it on. It's not just that one in particular.
right,
they needed to wait until the snow melted and stuff.
Yeah, we did get a couple emails on it, but at the time, winter wasn't over yet. So hopefully,
we were still on,
hopefully now it's over.
thank you.
And, we approved last year for a new plow truck coming this year. And that, we kinda got put on the back burner, cause we were gonna pay for a new ladder truck this year. Now, the ladder truck got pushed till next year, so I had already pushed our truck off till next year because of the amount of money that's gonna have to get borrowed. With the ladder truck getting pushed off, could we use the money that we had allocated for the ladder truck to purchase a plow truck for this year, instead of all of it again next year?
Would that be their money for that still, or is it not been designated anywhere else for that plow truck?
The ladder truck for the fire district, the earliest it will be here is March of next year. It has been set back. The ambulance, as of Friday, is not arriving until 7/16/26.
So I'm thinking you're asking if you can actually get the plow truck for this year? 'Cause I know a lot of times the build outs and,
Yep.
you know, and everything like that are 3 years out.
I actually talked with Patrick from Lakeside International, and he's thinking sometime in November. So,
What was,
it was,
number on that?
it was just about 378,000. But we had already paid for, I do believe it was $89,000 for the equipment, so we could hold the price from Monroe. And,
Chassis, yeah.
and so now we need to just pay for the chassis and the other half of the equipment.
I think that might be a strange question.
What is that?
I need solid numbers.
Yeah,
Todd and I have obviously discussed this a couple times.
yeah, cause the money was
Yeah.
pushed off till next year originally for the plow truck, because of having to borrow so much for the ladder truck. But now we don't have to borrow for the ladder truck this year, and we replace it with the plow truck.
But we have to borrow for Beulah Heights Road.
We will,
And we don't know what that number is.
not
And
yet,
a squad.
and a squad.
And that's coming up in the next.
Otherwise, next year, it's gonna be a real ouch to the town's pocketbook to pay for another squad car, a ladder truck, a plow truck.
What, and when do we have to have answer by on that? Like,
Borrowing.
We have funds to do, currently we have funds because we received our January and February settlement. As you look at your, treasurer's report, you can see how much funds money we have in the, general investment account. Until like a roadwork project is due for payment, that's when I really need to know solid numbers. So we won't have solid numbers on the culvert or anything. I mean, physical equipment between the plow truck and the squad, they have pretty solid numbers.
Yeah.
But it's the other stuff that's going here, between the roadwork and the culvert. So until we get some solid numbers, we
And,
don't know where we are yet.
yeah, and with Mr. Mills reviewing that, that's why bids will go up tomorrow. They'll be due back, I think it's April 14th
14th, I believe. And we'll
by
open
noon,
up.
and then it'll get opened and we'll have hard numbers for, St. Peter's Road, Lucille Point, and a couple other smaller roads in the hospital. Another third of money as well.
I just have a question of, and I think it's great you're thinking ahead, this, the Beulah Heights, project is obviously something that we were hoping to have a couple more years. I vote for a drawbridge myself, but money usually runs all that. You know, I mean, is this something as far as our borrowing power, when do we need to know for sure for that truck? Cause I'm thinking we're gonna have to wait on this decision, I'm
I
assuming.
thought that
What is their deadline to have it
Yeah.
by?
What is
Do you
the
have a
drop down
deadline?
date that we can make that decision? Does it mean, can it wait until April 14th when we open the road bids, or is this something that?
It can, yeah, there's no payment due, or we won't get invoiced for it until November.
I'm just asking, are they like rolling off the, out of the parking lot, like, is there like two? You know, I guess I'm just trying to make sure there's a timeline where we can, maybe we'll get all these bids back and then we can kind of, I won't be here to revisit it, but
Yeah, well, and
revisit
our
it
relationship
at a
with
later
the
meeting.
company that builds the truck, Monroe, isn't it?
Monroe, yeah.
They were willing to hold it for us or get it to us early. So we have that option. And that's why we, with the other stuff, the fire district, have option to get it sooner.
And I'm sorry, the fire district has no control over manufacturing.
Yeah, theirs just got pushed off, they had no control over that.
Sure,
For ours, I physically pushed it off because of not having to, because I figured they were gonna have to pay for a fire truck this
I
year.
got you.
You don't let them know until May 30th, or they still have it done for us in November.
That's my question.
I think Chad is asking.
Yeah.
Or after they
Why May 30th?
I'm just making up a date.
Yeah,
Because
so,
the new board members are voted in
Yeah.
April 15th. so
Right.
You can always have a special town board.
Yeah.
True.
I was making up a date for that date.
yeah, I'll call Lakeside and just say, this, I need a hard number.
And
And
then
they-
drop that,
yeah.
But I like how you agree, I agree with the other comments, that praise you for thinking ahead, you and
Yeah,
Chief.
just-
Jackie.
It's trying to create, having to borrow some money next year for.
Understood.
Yeah, seeing as how it was
Well,
already, there was already money budgeted for it this year.
Right.
Currently, the town has about $4 million of debt, which has all been equipment, roads, 90% of it's roads,
Yeah.
squad cars, I mean, that's it. But the town has a borrowing capacity of $64 million, so our auditor considers us having a very strong position.
Thank you for that information, Ms. Buchanan.
So, yeah,
Then, the next steps would be getting us a definite price and when we absolutely need to make that
Yeah.
decision, but we will try and make it sooner rather than later.
I just wanted to get it on your guys' attention, like, okay, and